Good afternoon and welcome to Find Your Sparkle with Jen, where you'll be inspired, informed, and influenced. I'm your host, Jennifer Stewart, owner of Jazz Potential and creator of Find Your Sparkle. And today I am extremely excited to have with me Elsie Morden, who is a singer, songwriter, also the creator and founder of No Time for That, which is a nonprofit that is fighting against bullying. Now, Elsie, you and I met, actually, we were talking about this a little over 2 years ago through a concert where I was one of the hosts and you were one of the performers, and we clicked right away. And we've actually been trying to get together for a while now. So I'm super excited to have you here. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to finally be here.
I know. It's like life is so busy, even with all of this craziness going on. Life has still
I
been
know.
extremely busy for a lot of people. Now, before we get going, I have to give you a couple of accolades about Elsie, because Elsie has been nominated and received tons and tons of awards. And the most recent one is the Atlantic Business Magazine Top 30 Under 30 Award, which is pretty impressive. But just to give you an idea of really who Elsie is, you know, she's gotten outstanding Canadian awards, 150 Leading Canadians for Mental Health Difference Makers Award, Premier's Healthy Living Award, Global Citizen Award, Volunteer Local Hero Award, and lots of great awards and nominations. How does it make you feel when someone, you know, to think about that, because you're so young, but yet you've accomplished so much? How does that make
Thank
you
you so
feel?
much. It makes me feel very fulfilled that I'm able to actually make a difference and make an impact. And I mean, awards are amazing and they can make you feel good, but at the same time they're not everything. And like there are a lot of awards that, maybe sometimes I think like, oh, I wish I could get this one and I never get them. Or awards that I get and I'm like, how did I get this? All of these amazing other people should have gotten this award. So like awards really aren't everything as much as I appreciate them. What really means the most to me and what I find even more fulfilling is the impact side, like I was saying before. So although awards symbolize that impact, it's the actual impact that makes me feel something. And it's, getting a message from somebody saying that I'm their inspiration or telling me that I changed their life. That's what really is fulfilling for me.
Oh my
So
goodness.
awards just kind of symbolize that. But do you know what I mean though?
It's like the icing on the cake, right? It just
Yeah.
validates what you're doing, that you are making a difference, Elsie. Like, you know, this is
Thank
you're
you.
living a great life and you're making a huge difference and an impact on so many people. So I want to get into talk about that. Let's get into talk about how No Time for That came to be, because this is really part of your story about, you know, growing
Yeah.
up. So give us a sense of, you know, what was it like being Elsie as a child and growing up? Because it wasn't always fun.
No, it was not fun most of the time. Um, Growing up for me was really, really difficult. I always struggled with a lot of different things and I never understood why. I always felt like I wasn't good enough and I always felt like I didn't belong and I always felt like nobody really liked me. I really just felt alone a lot of the time. And I moved around a lot. My parents moved around for a lot of different reasons. We had a house burned down in a forest fire. Like there were just so many reasons that we always moved around. And because of that, I was always the new girl at school. I was always the new kid. And I think just having to start over so many times and
Mhm.
like try to make new friends, that was really difficult. And then I was bullied a lot growing up for several reasons. I was left out, I was called names, forced to eat sand. I have really curly, frizzy hair, as you can see. Um, and I was called the mop for it. And there was
Oh,
this one time that a group of girls actually cut my hair off. And I I really became insecure and very self-conscious about like everything. And then going
how
to
old
high
were you?
school,
How
oh,
old were you?
sorry.
Sorry, when you first remember being bullied, like, do you remember when did that first start? How old were you?
Yeah, so I was in elementary school. When I really like started to be impacted by it, it was about grade three, like grade three and grade four. That's when I really started to have like negative thoughts about myself because of the way that other people made me feel and
Mm.
because of the way that other people are treating me. So when I look back, grade 3 and 4 is kind of when I really started to be impacted negatively by it. And then it continued into when I was in high school. And when I went into high school, like I had the mindset, like, okay, I'm gonna fit in finally for the first time. Like I'm gonna have friends, I'm gonna be popular. And I really set out to make that happen. And in the process, I completely lost who I was. I was trying so hard to impress everyone and, just be this person that
Fit
wasn't
in.
me. And I, because of that, really struggled with my mental health. So I was, really suffering with anxiety and depression. And at the time, I didn't know what was even going on. I just thought that something was completely wrong with me. So I was in a really dark place. And then all the things that happened in high school, um, rumors were going around, and I lived at that point in time in a very, very small community. And I ended up getting punched in the face by a girl that I didn't know from a neighboring small community because of rumors.
Oh,
And it was after I got punched in the face that, I realized like I can't keep living my life this way. I can't keep, pretending to be someone I'm not. I can't keep purposely doing bad in school to try to fit in, like all of these things. And um, I was kind of in this place where I didn't want to be around anymore. But at the
mm,
same time, I was just so like, I was so upset that people could treat other people like that and that other people could just watch it or like know it was happening
not
and
do
not
anything.
do anything. Like it
Right.
just made me so like upset. Like I don't really get mad. I just get like very emotional about things.
Right.
And I think that's really where like so much of my passion came from, where I just like needed to stand up to this and I needed to speak up because I went for so long not standing up for myself and not speaking up for myself or for other people that were also struggling. And I just like I had to do something about it. I found music. Like I really always connected with music my entire life growing up. And I think music, honestly, like I can honestly say music saved my life.
Mm.
And I taught myself how to play guitar. My dad had a guitar laying around the house, and I just started writing down like all of my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions, everything I was going through. And I put together my stories and my experiences and then these songs I'd written about it, which I honestly never really intended on writing. It just like kind of happened.
Came out.
Yeah, exactly. And I started emailing schools in my rural Manitoba area at the time. And I was in grade 12, I was 17, and it was the fall of my grade 12 year, so I was only in grade 12 for a couple of months. And I just started emailing schools being like, hey, I have this story, I have experiences, I have some songs, can I come and speak to your students and just let them know that, you know if they're feeling alone and hurt and misunderstood, like they're not the only ones, they're not alone, and like there's hope and it can get better. And just like let them know that it's good to be yourself and to follow their dreams and to never give up. And I didn't get any replies. I was like so devastated. But then finally I got a school that was interested, and I went in and I spoke to the students. It was a group of grade 5 students. It was very informal, like a very small presentation. And I had students coming up to me at the end, just like crying, giving me
Oh,
hugs, telling
oh,
me that like they didn't like realize how hurtful they were being when they would like, call someone a name or leave them out, and that they weren't going
oh,
to do that anymore, or telling me
oh.
that like they wanted to be themselves now and that like they weren't going to let other people bring them down and they were going to do those things that they wanted to do in life no matter what anyone said. And like I just like I started crying because I had all these kids just like looking up to me and giving me hugs and telling me that I
Wow.
inspired them. And I was like, I have to keep doing this. Like, this is my purpose. Like, this is what I need to do. So I
Wow.
ended up homeschooling myself mostly for the rest of grade 12. I started traveling throughout Manitoba. And then when I graduated, or after I graduated from high school, that's when I started branching outside of Manitoba. It's been several years now. It's actually been like 8 years, which is
Oh my
so long, but
gosh.
on and off. And we are now a registered Canadian charity. No time for that. And we have worked with over 600 schools across Canada, coast to coast, free of charge, educating and empowering youth. So
Oh my golly. You know, Elsie, that is such an incredible story, and is just actually, you know, so inspirational, because bullying, I mean, you hear so much about it, but you hear that bullying is like a zero tolerance, and that's not true.
no, it's not.
What did, can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's, you know, that's something, it's like a false sense of security that some people have, that there is no tolerance for bullying, and that's just not, it's obviously it's not true.
I wish
Can
it
you,
was.
yeah, no
um,
kidding.
Unfortunately, it seems to be an ongoing battle. But the important thing is that every day there are people who stand up to it. And I think that the more people who do stand up to it and try to actually make a positive difference, the better. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what No Time for That's trying to do. I mean, we have no time for bullying. So
Right.
it's kind of similar to saying like the no tolerance thing, but I mean, I think the more people who really do take a stand, the better. But when I went through bullying in school, I mean, there were so many times where stuff would happen and it would keep happening. And I was in schools that, said, oh, we have zero tolerance for bullying. But like, I don't know if I was very unlucky in the schools that I went to at the times that I went to them because I moved around so much. But like, I never got to see a performer or a presenter or somebody like inspiring come in and talk about it. Like, I never got to experience any sort of presentation where somebody that, represented me and what I was going through. Like, I never had anyone I could relate to. So with the No Time for That tour, I really just wanted to like be the inspiration to kids that I never had when I was growing up. And it's also why it's offered free of charge, because I went to a lot of small schools and maybe they didn't have presenters come in because they didn't have the budget. So it's like money is never going to be a barrier for students to get that inspirational message. But I really think that more people definitely do need to take bullying seriously.
Mhm.
A lot of people brush it off and they're like, oh yeah, like we have zero
Toughen up.
tolerance for bullying, but like, that happens. Kids will be kids, whatever. But it's like,
Mhm.
no,
Excuse,
like this is
excuse.
actually very serious and it affects people very differently because some people, like maybe some people are strong enough or are just that kind of personality type where, yeah, they can brush things off. But other people, like for example me, I'm very sensitive and I'm a very like highly emotional person, and just like my personality type, like I do take things to heart and like I do care a lot. So yeah, some things will hurt me more than other people, of course, but like bullying is very serious. And like when it escalates and when it keeps happening, it can significantly impact somebody's self-worth and somebody's mental health. And it'll carry on into your adult life. So when people are like, oh, kids will be kids, it's like, no, that's not the right way to look at this because this can have serious effects on somebody's entire life.
Their
And
whole life. Their whole life.
exactly, yeah.
We're going to have a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue with Elsie's fantastic story. We'll be right back. You're listening to CIOE 97.5 FM. Welcome back to Find Your Sparkle with Jen, and welcome back, Elsie. Now, just before break, we were talking about schools and the no bullying, no tolerance, and how that's really not true, and how people kind of excuse it, and they make excuses, and they say toughen up and kids will be kids, but we both know that's not true. And words matter. Words cut. Words stick with you. I didn't get severely bullied as much as you did, but I can tell you that there are things that impacted me well into my adult life that I'm just starting to deal with, in the last few years, that happened in elementary school, that happened in junior high.
Yeah.
And it is hard. I mean, and I'll give you a quick example. When I was younger, people would say that I had man arms and that I had hairy arms. So for years and years, I would I would cover myself. I would be super, super hot. And when I turned 40, I'm like, you know what? This is so ridiculous. I'm like, I have anxiety if I want to put a tank top on, or if I want to show my arms. And that is absolutely ridiculous. But it took a lot of work for me to get through that and to get past that, to be able to, and I still have to, I'm still very well aware of it. And that's, this is stuff that happened in elementary school, and I'm a grown woman. So how have you, reframed things and to help yourself to get through some of these things that you were bullied about?
First of all, I just wanted to say that those people didn't know what they were talking about. You have beautiful arms. I can see them right now.
Well, thank you.
And I'm very happy that you are wearing a t-shirt and that you are like not letting those people and those words bring you down anymore and hold you back from being you, you know? I think that's like same thing with for me though. Like for example, my curly hair, like I wear my
I
hair
love your
natural
hair,
now.
right? I love
Thank
your
you.
hair. It's so beautiful.
But like I went years and years never showing my natural hair, like never showing my curly hair. Cause same thing, it was just like it was just like in my head that like I couldn't wear my hair curly because nobody would like it and it was ugly, you know? So yeah, words are very powerful. And a lot of the time students will even ask me, they'll be like, what was the worst thing that happened to you? Was it when you got punched in the face? Because like my front right tooth is fake and I have like wires in my mouth and all of these things, but it's like, no, actually, like it's the words and it's like the emotional and the mental side of things that
Mhm.
still carries on with me. Because it's like when I'm biting into an apple, or I can't bite into an apple, I have to cut an apple to eat it. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
I'm just used to doing that. It's like whatever. Like I don't really think about it. But then it's like, yeah, when I see my curly hair sometimes, I'm like, hmm. Like it's very different. And I think the way that I deal with it now and the way that I have kind of overcome that is just like other people's opinions can't define me. Like other people's opinions aren't who I am. I'm who I am, and I need to own that and be proud of it because I'm me. And just like if people don't accept you for who you are, then that's their problem. Like then
Hmm.
that's their loss. And that's something that I know it takes a lot of work, but once you can let go of what other people think, it's so freeing and it's so empowering. And once you like actually live your life for you and not
Hmm.
other people, like that's when you like really like live. Do you know what I mean? So
That's,
it's
oh
a
my
it's a
God.
constant struggle. It takes a lot
Absolutely.
of work and it's every day. But yeah, I think that's really what you just have to try. And sometimes there'll be like setbacks and you'll have those days or those moments where you're doubting yourself or like you're not feeling it your best. But I think at the end of the day, you just have to try to do your best, and just try to be happy with who you are because once you do let go of other people's opinions, it is very, very freeing.
Freeing. Totally freeing to let go of other people's opinions, that's for sure. So when you think about you and your mission and what you do to help with your self-care, for instance, because it
Yeah.
is, you're absolutely right, it's not something that just comes naturally all the time. You have to, it's a
No.
daily thing, right? A daily thing. So can you give our audience a typical, what do you do to help keep you in check? And how did, and some of the things maybe that that you had to really overcome in order to get your mindset right.
Yeah, so like I said, it's kind of a constant struggle and you always have to work at it. And for me, I'm still healing from a lot of things and I'm still figuring out how to cope and how to put those supports and strategies into place. Um, I'm a very curious person, and one of the things that I've been really focused on is just learning more about myself, learning about my personality, what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, and how to better, I guess, like maximize my potential and my productivity and just everything that I am and just really own who I am and understand it, and understand maybe like why I react to something the way I do. So that's something that I've been really working on, through like leadership coaching and also through therapy. Another thing that I really do is yoga. I didn't start doing yoga until 2 years ago. Yoga changed my life,
Oh,
has
that's
very much
awesome.
helped me. Yeah, obviously, like music, that's like the
Yes.
big thing. And like whether it's like listening to music, writing, performing, just playing guitar, piano, music, and then also just like talking. Um, it is so, for me especially, talking about what's going on is so important and finding people that can listen and people that can support you and not judge you but just
Hmm.
like be there for you. So having those positive supportive people in your life is really important, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift you and want to see you do your best and want to support your dreams. People who just like really understand. So that's also something that's really important for me in my healing journey and coping with all of the things that go on. I also like I wear this ring every day. It's a karma ring. So it's like if you put out like good vibes and if you put out like positive energy, then that'll hopefully come back to you. And I also wear this necklace every day, and it says never give up on it. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's a really big thing for me too. And I have like positive and inspirational quotes and messages, or just things that like make me feel like uplifted or good, whether it's like in my office, in my apartment, on my phone. And I save every single message that a student or anybody in general sends me, like any sort of email or text or direct message comment on like an Instagram post, whatever it is, I save every message. And sometimes when I'm feeling really down, or discouraged about something, I'll just like go through the messages and be like, this is why I'm doing what I do. Like, this
I am
is
making a
why this
difference.
matters. Yeah.
That's
So,
absolutely incredible. So let's just change gears a little bit. And we were talking before we started, we were having our little catch up session, and you were talking about getting back into really digging deep into the music and writing and performing and playing
yeah.
again, because you've been really focused on building and making no time for that.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for, to be able to stand on its own, because you're hands on there right in. So it's been taking a lot of time. So let's talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that shifting and where you are with that, and then going into the music part of it, because that's exciting.
It is. It's so exciting. For so long, I've just been, yeah, like channeling everything into growing No Time for That so we can, increase our impact. And I am so excited that, things are finally falling into place. We have an amazing, incredible team of people now that are helping out. And we can, I think, finally get to that point where I can go back to focusing on my music. It's been a long time since I was in the studio. It's been a couple of years since I put out a record. So I have kind of like the concept, the artwork figured out. I have actually my problem right now is I have too many songs, so I'm trying to figure out which
Oh, wow.
songs are going to be on the album. But yeah, figuring out now plans to record my second record, just figuring out like where, when, and how. I have a show coming up. I'm really excited about that at the Carlton on April 29th. I'm opening for a new band called Pillow Fight. So that's going to be so much fun. Yeah, I'm so excited to be heading back into music. This past year has been like, I say year as in like the past 12 months, has been really hard as a musician, as an entertainer, as an artist.
Oh,
Um, I've spent
definitely.
literally my life, like from the time I was 17, when I started the No Time for That tour, I've spent every year of my life like on tour, traveling, doing performances. Like,
Wow.
so for the past 12 months, like to not be on the road, like it was so hard for me. Like this past, like, and I know all creative, like people in the music industry, entertainment industry in general, like we were really hit hard by that because like it's our life, to like travel
Yes.
and play music for people and connect with audiences. So yeah, the past 12 months, it was very, very hard. And what I did to get through it was honestly just like focus on the behind the scenes, focus on the back end, where it was like, okay, what do I need to organize? What do I need to work on? So that when I can go on the road again, when I can record my next record, I can just like hit the ground running. So I've been really just building, 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 building.
Awesome. I love that. So let's talk a little bit more about what's the future for you and for No Time for That. And Elsie
Yeah.
Morden, as a singer-songwriter, what are your aspirations?
Oh, I have so many. Um, right now, like I'm gonna kind of like build up. So right now, with No Time for That, we actually developed virtual programming during
Perfect.
these times. So that's something that we're really working on and that I'm doing. So I'm delivering presentations virtually right now, keynote
Awesome.
speaking and performing as well. So right now, we're actually looking to grow and build the No Time for That virtual tour. So if there are any schools out there that are looking for a very user-friendly, educational, and empowering presentation, as well as like educational materials and resources, please get in touch with our charity. No Time for That. We are looking for more schools for the remainder of this school year and also going into next school year. So the virtual tour is a big thing. And then for myself, just continuing to do keynote presentations, continuing to work with the charity to increase our impact. My music, like I said, I'm hoping to record my second record really soon. When we can go out on tour again, definitely want to go out on tour, do more touring. My goals and my dreams and my aspirations are like really big. Like I want to, you know, be at the Junos. I want to be at the Grammys. I want to be performing in stadiums around the world. I want to, you know, I want to have a book out. I want to have this charity be an international organization. I want to, you know, just be able to grow my platform to the level where I can just be making a huge, huge, huge difference. Like that is what excites me the most about this and everything that I'm doing is just to be able to be in a position where I can actually positively, you know, inform, inspire, and influence people. So that's really what my goals and my dreams and my aspirations are, is to just do as much as I can and just grow everything to the point where I can just, yeah, have a really big impact.
Oh my golly, I absolutely love that. And there is absolutely no question that you're well on your way because you're impacting people already. But my final question for you, and you kind of answered it, but if you could summarize it, what makes you
Okay.
spark? What makes you sparkle?
How do I'm so bad at summarizing. I'm so passionate about so many things, but I think what makes me sparkle is seeing other people sparkle.
I love it. That's perfect. I want to thank you so much for being here today. It has been an absolute pleasure. We're going to have a little bonus
Likewise.
section too.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you face to face sometime soon,
I
hopefully.
know.
But we will connect again. You're listening to CIOE 97.5 FM, and we'll catch you next time. And remember, go out and do something that makes you sparkle today and every day. Bye for now, friends. Welcome to the bonus section with Elsie. And we were
Hi.
just talking really quickly, and Elsie had mentioned that there was a big part of her story that she didn't get to talk about during our interview. So I want you to basically just explain what we were just talking about, Elsie, because it's really important, because mental health is a huge thing. And you know, it really impacts our lives and lives around us. So I'm gonna let you take over now.
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to say that I really enjoy having a bonus section. I'm that kind of person that like when there's like the opportunity to do like a bonus section or like answer the bonus question on the test,
Yeah.
I'm like all for it.
Yep. Pick me.
Um, yeah. Yeah, so I found out 2 months ago that I have ADHD. I was formally diagnosed with ADHD, and it was kind of a life-changing moment for me because I realized like so many things that I've struggled with throughout my entire life just like made sense. Like it was so validating for me to like get this diagnosis because I always felt like I couldn't do things the same way that most people could do them, or that I didn't think the same way that most people thought. Growing up, like there were so many times where like I would be so hard on myself, or other people would, you know, make me feel bad for things, and I didn't understand why I couldn't do something or why I did something the way I did. So to get this diagnosis is just so validating. And I actually had my anxiety diagnosis and my depression diagnosis updated by the doctor to reflect that a lot of my mental health struggles throughout my life have actually stemmed from having ADHD and not knowing and not having any supports in place for it. So over the past couple of months, I've just been really trying to understand that more, and just really figure out, you know, how can I better cope with having ADHD? What supports do I need to put in place? What can I do to, you know, better maximize my productivity and all that kind of stuff? But it's been very, very eye-opening, and I really want to bring awareness to it because, you know, as somebody who, you know, is neurodiverse, I like I realize now, or neurodivergent, I realize that, you know, there are so many other people out there who don't realize that are probably also struggling with this. Um, so I think it's so important to bring awareness to it because it's extremely underdiagnosed and very overlooked in girls and women. So
That's
yes.
when you, so one of the things that pops into my head about this is the challenges of getting in to see somebody to be
Yeah.
diagnosed. And that is it, and it breaks my heart to think about how many people are actually suffering in silence because they can't get the help. And so I'm so happy that you were able to get in and get a diagnosis, because so many people are stuck in limbo, and like you say, wondering what the heck is wrong with me. So when you got your diagnosis, and you sort of, I can imagine you were kind of putting pieces together throughout your life. What
Oh
was
yes.
that like for you?
It was kind of an emotional roller coaster.
I imagine,
First of
I
all,
can only,
yeah,
wow.
I was very grateful to have had the opportunity and the ability to actually go see a doctor about it. However, I was on the wait list for like 3 years to
I
see a
was going
doctor
to ask,
here.
that's a long time.
Yeah, I moved to Nova Scotia in 2016, the summer of 2016, and I didn't get a doctor until like last year. Like,
Mm,
so it took a very, very long time to actually get a doctor here. I'm very grateful that I do have one now, and that he was understanding and was able to talk with me about ADHD. Like we did like tests and everything, and yeah, it's definite. And the way that I kind of found out about it was I was talking to a few other people, just business connections, and also one of my friends who are diagnosed with ADHD and have it. And I just kept being like, sounds like you're describing me. Like I struggle with that too. Like I feel the same way. And then, I just in having enough conversations, and I started researching it, and I was like Googling like all the things. And then I started following like a lot of like ADHD accounts on social media, people who actually have ADHD that talk about their experiences and what they go through. And I was like, there's no way that I don't have this. Like, I for sure
wow.
have ADHD. And then, yeah, I got my diagnosis, and it really did change my life. The emotional roller coaster finding out, though, was like half, I'm so happy I know what's wrong with me now. Like, this all
Right.
makes sense. I'm so validated. And then the other half was like,
What
oh
do we
my
do now?
God, like I've gone my whole life like this. The playing field has never been fair. All of those times that like I was upset about this thing, or I was made to feel like shit for this thing, or whatever it was, like it wasn't even my fault. Like I had no control over this. And things like, oh my God, like that, grade 12 provincial English exam that I still to this day beat myself up over because I didn't finish it in time. If I knew I had ADHD, I would have been given the time to finish it. Like what?
Right.
Like so many things like that where it's just like, whoa, like this is actually it's so ADHD really impacts the day to day of someone. And for me, especially, like I'm really good at masking it, but it really impacts me every day, like in everything that I do. And a lot of the times when I was growing up, people just thought like, oh, she just talks a lot, or oh, she's just gifted in school, or like, oh, she's just a perfectionist, like whatever, like all these
Mhm.
things. But it's like, no, I
Label.
actually have ADHD.
Lots of labels. I mean, with,
Yes.
with everything, I think that as a society, we're pretty good at putting on labels. If we just removed all
Oh
of
yeah.
those, started treating everyone as though they're people, and be kind and loving with everyone. It's,
Exactly.
right? I think that's the biggest thing. What kind of tips can you give to people who are experiencing bullying, because we forget sometimes that there's adult bullying too. I mean, it's old age that we think about strategically. It's always historically been in schools where we kind of focus it, but there's a lot of adult bullying that happens too. Does your organization dip into that at all, or do you see that maybe that might be someplace that you might go in the future?
Yeah, a little bit. Our primary focus is youth, but we definitely do talk. Like for myself specifically, like outside of No Time for That, I do a lot of keynotes for adults and like for organizations or for like just groups, workplace, whatever. So like I definitely do like my own keynotes to a lot of adults. The charity's more focused on youth. Um, I think there's definitely room to explore doing more. Like with the charity, we do some community sessions. So, for example, we'll like visit a school during the day and present to the students there, and then in the evening, the charity will do a community presentation for like more of the staff, parents, anyone in the community that wants to like attend and see the presentation that we give to youth. Because um, a lot of the messaging is actually it's pretty universal.
Mhm.
It doesn't really matter like what age you are, it's still relevant. And that's kind of, I mean, like the good and bad thing about it, where unfortunately, it does continue in life.
Yeah,
Or maybe an adult's not necessarily experiencing bullying, but they were bullied when they were a kid, and there's still that things that they need to heal from, or they didn't realize how much it impacted them, or they can just relate to it. So it is pretty universal. So all ages definitely are impacted by it in a positive way, like our presentation and my story and what I do. But I definitely think that for me, um, like I've experienced adult bullying as well,
mhm,
and it's not something that I talk about as often because I am so focused on the youth side of everything. Um, but definitely with my keynotes, getting more into talking about adult bullying because I have experienced it, um, and like I I'm the kind of person where I always don't want to like say too like okay, I say too much in the sense that I talk a lot, but I also kind of hold back where I don't want to like, step on any toes. I don't want to cause any problems. I don't want to like upset anybody or anything, but like
waves,
I'm at the point where it's like no, like you have to just like speak your truth and stand up to anyone. It doesn't matter, how big that person is in the sense that, like they're in a really like big power position and they're a really important, prominent person, but it doesn't matter. Like bullying isn't okay. And even if somebody is in a very powerful position, it doesn't give them the right to treat other people poorly. So yeah, I'm starting to talk more about the adult bullying that I've experienced. And one of, I think, the biggest um, things that happened to me, um, the charity, I was like, we kind of a couple of years ago went through this like, I guess like phase where we were really rebuilding still, trying to figure out, who was on the team, figure out where everything was going. And I unfortunately just, ran into some people who just didn't get it. They just weren't the right people, and it kind of became this bullying situation where there was a person in a position of power that I really wanted to look up to and I really wanted to be inspired by, but unfortunately it almost became like this really weird ironic situation where this person was bullying me, and I didn't know what to do. I kind of really struggled with like imposter syndrome. I like
right,
questioned everything that I knew, where it was like when somebody who's so powerful and is looked up to by a lot of people is making you feel so terrible, you question everything where you're like, but this doesn't make sense because they're supposed to be this good person. So why do I feel so threatened by them? Why do I feel intimidated? Why do I feel bad about myself? Why am I scared? Like what is going on? You know?
right.
And when that person tries to like just yeah make you doubt everything that you are and who you are and doubt everything that you've accomplished, and it was a really really hard time for me, but I realized like oh yeah, adult bullying is real and it's not okay, and I kind of connected it to what I went through growing up, and I'm like oh yeah, like I have no time for this, like this is not okay. And I
Right.
was able to thankfully stand up to that, and just yeah had kind of that same fire that I had when I was younger, being like, "Oh, like, I can't let this happen again." And even though the person looked differently in the sense that, it wasn't somebody in high school in my classroom, it was somebody in the business world, an adult. So, yeah, it is real, and, it's really important to stand up to it. I could
So
go
how
on
did
for a
you
long
feel?
time about this.
I bet, yeah. How did you feel when when you finally stood up to that person, and what was how did the situation end?
Yeah, so I was very anxious about it. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I had to do something. And
Yeah,
I reached out to a couple of people and just explained the situation and was very validated by it. And it really came down to like, am I going to let somebody else that really doesn't know me that well? and tell me who I am, who I should be, what I should be doing, and just diminish everything and all of my accomplishments and what this charity has done and where it could go. Somebody who didn't see the potential. Am I going to let them really control things and win? It's like, no. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. So yeah, it was just a matter of like having the conversation and just being like, I'm really sorry, but like I like this isn't working and it's not right. I need to keep doing this and I can't have you, hold me back anymore. And I don't know, I don't know if they'll ever understand. And obviously there's always two sides to every story and they have their reasoning and I have mine, but it's like I know I need to stay true to who I am and I know the importance of No Time for That and the impact that we make. And I just know how much potential it has to really change the world. So that's what I'm focusing on. And what I've learned, whether it was the students that bullied me, the people that bullied me when I was growing up, or even people, as an adult now in the workplace and just in life, what I've really learned is that like sometimes you can't necessarily change mean and negative people or like negative experiences, but what you can change is how you're affected by them
I
and
love
you just can't let them bring you down. So since that time where it was actually a situation where no time for that almost didn't exist anymore. It was almost
that.
completely shut down as an organization, and I fought for it. I didn't give up on it. Every single person in my life, like Jen, every single person in my life just told me to give up on it because that's how hard of a situation it was. Every
Oh
single
my
person.
God, are you serious?
I'm serious. That's what the situation was. And I just
Oh,
couldn't. I was like, I cannot give up on this. So I
no.
fought for it and
Wow.
I won, I got control back, and now the charity is doing better than it's ever done. It's bigger than it's ever been. We have an incredible group of people that are a part of it, an incredible board. We have a huge, amazing group of volunteers. We have our first like staff person now. Like it's doing so incredible. We have a virtual tour happening right now. Like there's just so many opportunities and so many incredible things happening. And I just didn't give up on it. And I didn't let people bring me down. And I hope that anybody listening or watching this right now, like don't let people tell you that you can't do something. Like believe in yourself because you can do it. And like just never give up. Like,
That is you know what,
yeah,
that is totally the best advice because so many of us have been in similar situations where, you know, those people that you really want to support you
yeah,
aren't. And, you feel like, wow, really? Like, geez, I just really want, can't, what's going on? Right. And
yeah.
you just really want those people close to you to be as passionate and to see what you can see. So I just have to applaud you for staying so strong and for fighting for No Time for That, because that's definitely your baby and you're passionate. And I mean, and everyone knows and the impact that you can make. So I think, when you think about why that happened, maybe that needed to happen for you to
Yeah,
take that stand, to say, you know what, no, this is happening now, and it's time to get big. And I mean, now look, right, so you're in
I know.
a
I
completely
know.
different space now. So that adverse situation opened up, I think, I don't know, I feel like it really helped you to realize that, you know what, this is my passion and it is
It
making a
did.
difference. So
Yeah,
screw you.
it completely did.
It's happening, right?
Yeah, like 130%. And that's kind of how I look at everything, where it's like everything is like a stepping stone. Everything leads you to, like where you are now. And I always worked so hard, but like I've never worked harder in my life like now. And like I don't, yeah, it really did just open up so many more opportunities. And it led me to meeting with all the incredible people that I now know that are now on my team and like
Right.
all of like yeah, it really did lead to all of this and just really figuring out exactly like where it's going and it allowed me to get all of that behind the scenes stuff in place. So yeah, as unfortunate as it was, just like the stuff that happened to me when I was younger, as unfortunate as it was that I went through that, that I had to experience being called the names I did, that I got punched in the face, all of the things, like it ultimately led me to where I am now, being able to make an impact and help and inspire other people. And like at the end of the day, as weird as it sounds, like I wouldn't change it, you know?
No, you know what it does? It makes you who you are. I understand
Yeah.
too. I mean, I get that. There's a lot of stuff that happens to people, and that's probably, if you were to start from scratch, that's probably not the way that you would design your life. But
No.
knowing, right? Knowing that all that crap has happened really has made you stronger and has made
Yeah.
you who you are. Just like all my crap is the same. I mean, I wouldn't be the same person without that. So, as hard as it is to go through those challenging times, it really does make a difference when you do come out on the other side, and I think learn the lessons. Like, that's the other part,
Yeah.
is it's different if you aren't learning along the way. But when you're learning along the way and you're making a difference and you're adjusting and you're really getting to know yourself, right? And who you are. And that's, a lot of times we forget about that part, and staying true to yourself. So I'm really glad that you didn't give up. And I
Me
know
too.
that this is, it's such a huge, I think, for anybody listening, when you get in a situation where things are looking down and dismal and you're not sure where to go, and it's easy to give up. That's the thing. It would have been, how easy would have been for you to throw the towel in and
Yeah.
sort of succumb to, what everybody around you was saying. It would have been really easy. How hard was it to stand up for yourself and to keep going? And then, that payoff at the end.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow,
Like
being
that.
true
That's
to
yeah. You just
I
summed that
just
up really well.
I just, it's so true. I mean, and you never know, the ripple effect is huge. And when I think about bullying, you being bullied, and, things that happen, different things that happen to me, and I think, how many people along the way are impacted, just as the good things. But what can we learn, and how can we grow, and how can we keep growing, and how can we impact people in a positive way? Those, like, I think back when you were talking about, those kids in grade 5 that were coming up to you and hugging you and stuff, and how much difference that you made in their lives. And, how many bullies did you impact that day? And do you impact every time that you do a speech, and every time you do a presentation? It's not just the people who are being bullied that are hearing you, right? I mean, they're hearing you, and I know that they're feeling some relief that other people can relate. But how many bullies are you stopping in their tracks?
Yeah.
I think that's huge, huge.
Yeah, exactly. It's just you never know what someone's going through, so it's so important to be kind all the time and just respect yourself and other people. So I definitely know that that yeah, my message and my story does impact everyone, whether they have been bullied or they were bystander or they were bullying someone else. And hurt people. So a lot of the times the bullies are struggling with their own things or maybe
Mhm.
something at home, and they can relate it that way too. So yeah, it is the most, it's healing for me. It's incredibly rewarding, and just so incredible that I am able to reach so many different people. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. Absolutely, it's absolutely fantastic. And forgiveness, I think that was the word that came into my head.
Yes.
Forgiveness. That's a huge thing, because it's not going to do any good for anyone if we keep that stuff in. So how have you been able to manage and navigate forgiveness?
Yeah, so I'm actually like, I used to think that it was a fault of mine and like a bad thing, but I am probably like the most forgiving person that I know. Like
Good.
where other people would have like, like maybe they'd give someone like two chances and they're like, nope, done, like never again. I'm like, okay, like you can get it this 200th time. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm very forgiving. Anybody that has ever done anything to me, like I honestly forgive people right away because I'm like, obviously, this came from a place of them not understanding something, or this came from a place where they're hurting on like inside and it's just being projected at me, or whatever the situation is. Like, yeah. So I think forgiveness is very important because, like I was saying, like, you never know what somebody's going through. So sometimes when somebody maybe does come off as rude, or maybe is being mean to you, or does something and you're like, why would they treat me like that? Like, maybe they're dealing with something on their own and they just didn't know how to, positively deal with it. So yeah, forgiveness is very important, and just love. I think um, a lot of this is something that I've been like really focused on lately, especially is just like the importance of love, and not just in like a romantic way, but like
Right.
just putting so much love out into the world, just like to everybody. It's just so important. Like, we need connection, we need to feel loved, we need to be supported. And I think when more people can, kind of get past the fact that, love can be more than just romantic, I
Absolutely.
think the world will be a better place. So
Oh my golly, I love that. I'm like, I totally agree with that. And my mission, one of my missions is to basically be like love, just send that love and light and sparkle out there to everyone, right? Because it feels,
yeah,
when you it feels so much better when you feel good,
I know. And when other
right?
people feel good because you made them feel good, it's like the best thing. And then when everyone's feeling good, like it's just like so
One of
fulfilling.
I know one of my favorite quotes by Dr. Wayne Dyer is, if you when you're faced with a choice to be right or kind, or when you oh wait, how's it go? When you have a choice to be either kind or right, always choose kindness, and it's always a choice. And that's one of
Yeah.
my favorite. It's kind of like a motto that I have, that if I'm feeling frustrated and that pops into my head, it really does help me to get grounded and to get centered again. Because I mean, I'm perfectly imperfect and have, we all have our ups and downs. And I think that getting better at acknowledging and really, knowing yourself, and knowing, okay, just being aware and think, oh, you know what? Okay, maybe I could be a little bit more kind today, or why does that even matter? Right? It's all about, like you said, being loving, showing the love, generating love, that
Yeah.
kindness to everyone. I'm like the altruistic person that would love. I just want the world. I just want everybody to get along.
Me too. Me too. Um,
Just get
so
along. Just love everybody.
everybody listening, watching right now, um, we challenge you to be extra loving today. When you're listening, maybe, reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, or somebody that's in your life, and just think about, how you can really show that you love them and appreciate them.
Oh, I love that. What can we call that? The challenge, the love challenge. Show the love. Let's find a hashtag for that. What do we want to be? What
um,
hashtag do we want?
I don't even know. Love, lots of love.
Love.
Um, share the love.
Share the
I don't
love.
know. Um, I don't know.
Share the love. Show the love. Share the
Share the
love.
love.
We'll do a few in
I
there.
don't know. I'm a
I love
very
that.
indecisive person. I can't choose a hashtag on the spot like this, Jen.
All right. Sorry. But I love that, though. We'll do that. And I think that that's a super great challenge. So everyone, I love that. Go out and show more love, be more kind,
Yeah,
show more kindness to people, compliment someone.
exactly.
That's one of my favorite things to do, is to compliment someone sincerely,
Me
especially if
too.
it's a stranger,
Yes.
because it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
But
and even just smiling at people, like,
yeah,
makes a big difference. Like literally, you could be walking down the street, or like in a cafe or whatever, and you just see somebody and you can tell that they're just like thinking about something, or they're stressed about whatever, and just like smiling at them, like with your eyes too, and just like trying to like transfer. Like, whenever I like think of it, I'm like, how can I transfer some of my positive energy to this person and make them feel better? And like almost every single time you can just tell that like it's
I
received and
felt
that
it.
they like feel better.
Yeah, totally. You know what? That's so true. I mean, we think about our energy fields, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
can definitely reach a lot of other people. Oh my gosh, we could talk for hours. Is
Yes.
there anything else anything you want to say
um
before we go?
I think just be yourself, follow your dreams, and never give up.
Never give up. That's amazing. No matter what anyone says, never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. There's so many great examples out there of people just like you who never give up and have an amazing result. I want to thank you so much again for being here. It has really been a lot of fun. I
Thank
have
you.
loved our time. I loved our time together. I loved catching up. It's been way too long, way too long. But
Agreed.
oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to seeing you perform live
Me
soon.
too.
And
I can't wait.
get out in the circuit. But thank you again. And we're going to say goodbye for now. And thank you, everyone. Remember to go out and do something that makes you sparkle today and every day. We'll catch you soon, friends. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.